fellow Mossad agents. Let's unmask this criminal that ruined our beloved recruitment simulator. Our beloved video game remaster that was promised to us 2000 years ago. Unmask him. Dear God, it's literally the same company. How could this happen? We are the best intelligence organization in space. How could we miss that? I have to inform the big Yahoo. Quickly, inform Space Tel Aviv High Command now. And you, the Master Golem, will deal with you later.
Chief, mind telling me what the hell you have been smoking in the last few years to show up looking like this? Halo? More like hell no. Honest question though. Putting all of the jokes aside, we can have plenty of fun later in the review, but for now, just one honest question. Why do you want to play this remake, or why did you play this remake? So it's an honest question. To experience Halo on modern graphics? To try out sprinting and the few new guns they added to the game? Guns and additions that could as well have been a mod? Or to play the bonus missions that kind of also feel like they are modded content? To experience the story and feel that Halo nostalgia again? Why? Like honestly, why? If it's not for the honestly irrelevant and nonsensical or useless added features to this game, why would you spend $50–60 to play this over the original? Keep in mind, it comes without a multiplayer mode. It requires you to link a Microsoft account to Steam. It's always online. It's literally just Halo CE again. Really, go tell me, why do you need this specific version of Halo if the original is still intact and playable, and you get the remaster with the Master Chief Collection that you can play with the old graphics? Granted, this is not the original version, but very close. There have been a very few pointless remasters and remakes the past few years, this year especially, but this particular remake feels like it's probably the most pointless one by a mile. The original is timeless, a beloved classic. It has never been topped by 343 Studios. It has never gotten a faithful remaster or a remake, nor does it need one. There is no excuse not to play the original. This remake is the pinnacle of Slop Golem content. It is the literal meme of what if Mario was just made in Unreal Engine, just with the exception that 343 actually did it. They remade Halo CE a second time in Unreal Engine. And I can give you the rundown here if you don't care for the full video. The art style of the original has been thoroughly destroyed by the Unreal Engine paint job. Good luck, by the way, running this on older hardware. It had the multiplayer ripped out of its guts. The campaign has a handful of new weapons that don't contribute to anything. The game could have gone without those as well. The sprint is a balancing issue. Yes, enemies do not properly react to it. That is why it had to be toned down to the point where sprinting is either not even needed, or it feels like a gimmick ability to dodge cheaply. Hunters are extremely easily cheesed by sprinting, but most of the time you wouldn't even need to sprint. So why even add the feature in the first place? The bonus missions are a joke, and it shows that 343 Industries still cannot write and make good missions even though they have the blueprints on how to do it. It's actually quite amusing going from the campaign into the bonus missions and experiencing a literal quality whiplash. The added cutscenes don't do anything but drag out the game's runtime, and they don't even look good. Most of the characters in the cutscenes are uncanny and weird looking, and that's all Halo Remake has to offer. Other than that, it is literally just Halo CE campaign, but bastardized by a horde of untalented hacks and modernized for the quote-unquote current day audience, whoever that is supposed to be. All of that is rolled up into an insulting package of $50–60 with a $70 scam edition that gives you worthless skins and 5-day early access to the game. If you are not some content creator making fun of this game, you should not buy either of these editions. Stay away from this game. Instead, just play the original. That's the quick and dirty intro summary before we get into the full review. Maybe some more info before we go in. I didn't like Halo 4, 5, and yes, 6, especially the visual style of 6, and this visual style has unfortunately been copied over to Halo CE Remake. This just means that Halo CE now looks like Halo 6 without the gimmicks of Infinite and the addition of like sprint and some weapons. That's it. So, how are we going to do this? Since this is just Halo CE again, I will go through the game commenting on only aspects that were either significantly changed or egregious, or when I found something funny, or some examples of Unreal Engine fucking up the original art style. Needless to say, this game is entirely unrecognizable after it's been dragged through the Unreal Engine 5 wood chipper. And I will talk in more detail about the actual new features and the new weapons, sprint and the bonus mission pack. The latter part of the video will essentially be a review of the bonus mission pack, as this is only the actual really new content that we can even talk about. Yeah, the rest of the game is just Halo CE a second time. Now, is the game fun? Yes, it's Halo CE, it's Halo 1, of course it's fun to play, even though honestly all of the additions only detract from the enjoyment. The original is more fun to play. If you wanted that as a tip, just play the original. I don't know how often I need to say this. First off, for $50, this is greedy, expensive, way too expensive, and just insulting. It is not worth the asking price. You have heard this in the short summary already. There is so little quote-unquote new content here, so paying $50+ to get just a new coat of paint for Halo CE when the original is still available and honestly just better, that is a deal nobody should ever take. Pirate this and only pirate this. Never purchase it. The Deluxe Edition is a scam as well. We all know that Deluxe Editions are scams. It's 5-day early access, that's what you're paying for. And the rest of it is worthless skins that nobody should ever use. The game is always online and you need to link a Microsoft account to Steam. No, it is not enough to just log into an existing Microsoft account, you need to link it to Steam, unlike in the Master Chief Collection. Thankfully, I have a bunch of throwaway Microsoft accounts that are not personalized, which I have acquired in the past. I just need to get it unlinked from Steam after this review is over. The game is 70 GB of Unreal Engine 5 slop for the original Halo CE campaign and some bonus mission packs without multiplayer or Forge or any other features. The game also has an annoying AI voiceover active in the menu for accessibility reasons. You have to immediately turn that off if you don't want to get annoyed by that.
2 of 5. Ty Howardis. Screen cal. Previous tab. QKey audio tab. List tab. 2 of 4. Next.
And in the beginning, it started you into the digital art book instead of launching the main menu. So you had to uninstall the digital art book to even properly launch the game. So good job on whoever is responsible for this specific day one bug. Good job. The game runs fine for me, at least, but the game loads shaders on a permission basis, so loading times in between missions may actually vary depending on your system, and even on my rig it has significant stutters at certain points, which you will see during more gameplay that I will be showing off later. The game also warned me about my driver, even though I have the most recent driver version installed. I get it, I get it. You don't want people to complain even though they did not fully update their GPU drivers, but my drivers were up to date, so I have no idea what that was about. Other than that, I had no performance issues and most importantly, no crashes. The game ran at 100 to 160 frames per second on 2K and Ultra. So yeah, it's okay. But this is also running on a 5090 and a CPU that eats small children for dinner. So yeah, I'm not really a good benchmark for this. And your mileage may vary a lot, quite a lot. So don't take my input here as anything to take away. My rig is completely oversized for this game. So you should look at people with stuff that's more in your hardware range. Now, at least you can look at 2K Ultra gameplay, you know, for your pleasure. I assume not everyone will be able to run the game at these settings with an above 60 frame rate. In addition, as expected, motion blur and screen shake are turned on by default, and that's a gaming sin in my book. That's an immediately a negative impression, especially the screen shake, because that seems to be really excessive. in this game. Now, I haven't turned it on at all because I already knew I would get a headache, so I kept it off, but I've seen examples of people experiencing the shaking in this game. Who the hell keeps asking for these features, by the way? Like, what kind of freak wants a headache and motion sickness when playing a game? Like, really, I gotta ask this. Sound off in the comments if you want these features. And that's it in terms of the performance department. What else would you expect from an Unreal Engine 5 remake? The new weapons. In the campaign, they added the SMG, the needle rifle, the sentinel beam and the particle beam or the particle cannon, essentially the jackal sniper. These weapons are rather rare in the first half of the game especially, and later on become more numerous, but the needle rifle and the particle beam stay completely rare all throughout the game. The SMG feels just like another version of the assault rifle and thus is entirely obsolete. The needle rifle is akin to a sniper, and it would be a balancing issue if it wasn't super rare. So again, why was this included? It might have well not been added to the game at all. The bonus mission pack has more needle rifles dropped from enemies, and it's honestly probably one of the strongest feeling guns in those missions. The sentinel beam becomes more common when more sentinel enemies spawn, and it's pretty effective against the flood, but it runs out of energy pretty quickly and overheats, so pointless. The particle beam is another flavor of a sniper rifle, only it feels less effective as a sniper, runs out of energy quicker and overheats quicker, so why would I use this? In short, all of these guns feel like somebody modded them into the game, and that is about the amount of effort and money spent on these editions, that being 0. There is no reason for them to be included. The original worked without them, and the remake did make no changes to justify their existence. And that's it for the new weapons in the remake. The sprint. Let's talk about sprinting. It feels like half the time the sprint doesn't do anything, and most of my playtime, around half of the playtime, I forgot that I could even sprint. And then you realize you can sprint, and the game becomes even more sloppy because of it. Does the sprint affect the game's balance? Yes. Since you have regenerating HP, and that means all health packs are completely gone, not only is the game dumbed down and easier due to this fact, but you can also just sprint around the corner or zigzag to regain your health and shields in a very cheap manner now. In the background are a few examples of sprinting past encounters and skipping them or sprinting into cover to get health back, and even some clips where I just weave between fire because most of the enemies have projectiles, they don't have hit scan, and the flood are a lot of melee type enemies. They have no chance in hitting you or catching up to you if you sprint, and that is because they did literally nothing to balance out the game with sprint in mind. The argument here should not be you are in control of the buttons you press. That's not an argument. They included a movement function. They should have probably balanced the game around the movement function, but the only way they did it was half-assed. The sprint is a cheap gimmick, but it's also ineffective. It's a cheap gimmick to make the game even more dumbed down and lazy, but it also doesn't feel like you're sprinting half the time. You don't get a feeling of momentum or speed. So why add it? Now, the only enemy that is really affected by this are hunters. They are especially vulnerable to being cheesed by, sprinting around them. We even saw that in the previews. There was just no need to implement this feature, and it feels half-assed to begin with. They should have balanced this feature, but they were too lazy to do it. The only thing they did is you stop sprinting if you take damage, and you cannot sprint during the reload. Those are the only balancing attempts. But this feature is entirely pointless, just like the entire remake is pointless. Weapon drops are now marked on the ground. The waypoints feel way more aggressive, and it feels like Cortana is yapping way more than she used to do. But that could just be my own dementia, because I don't remember the originals all that well, and I didn't play the originals in preparation for the review. And you hold E to pick up new weapons, but generic stuff. There seems to be a weird little zoom-in effect when you're killing enemies. Sometimes, only sometimes, it's like an additional visual kill confirm in addition to the giant hit marker they added. I don't know why that is the case. And those are generic details I found on my first playthrough, worth mentioning right at the beginning. Now we will quickly go through my findings in the campaign, only highlighting points of interest, funny things, and then review the bonus mission pack. So let's get into it with the first look at the new cutscenes of the opening cinematic. And immediately we are greeted with Uncanny Cortana and Uncanny Johnson. Johnson especially looks weird with his cartoon eyes and weird smirk. I'm not convinced it was a good idea to remaster the original cutscenes. Again, Slop is gonna be Slop. John Halo gets unfrozen, and we get greeted by a very rude person.
Sir, I need you to look at me so we can begin.
You're not looking at me. Thankfully, that person dies immediately and we go to see the UNSC soldiers doing their thing.
How'd that feel?
Good job, guys. Until we meet Uncanny Cortana again. And Captain Keys gives us a tiny, tiny baby premium skin for the Magnum.
Make sure my daughter gets this.
Oh? A special... Whoa, that's super small. And this tiny baby Magnum will have relevance later on, so you better keep it in mind. Note it down, take notes, fellas. We then fight our way out of the autumn, and at this point you will realize, where is the Ward? There's no more Ward?
Take this, unclean one!
Why don't you speak reversed, man? What the fuck is that? They just speak normal English. Do I have a vocoder that makes me understand these guys? Why do they speak normal English? That's garbage. They have to speak fucking goop language. Man, why are you guys... That fucking sucks, man. No word. Yes, the Sanghelis speak normal English now, which leads to some unintentionally funny moments. I feel this is a mistake to make them no longer speak the alien speech. It's kind of part of the original's charm, but this version somehow also still is funny, although I don't know if this is supposed to be funny. Cortana suggests we seek a green door and scan the environment, which is what she said in the original, but the game puts a waypoint on the green door, so this dialogue kind of feels worthless now.
My analysis suggests our exit will be behind a green-lit door. Scan the area, Chief.
What do you mean scan the area? This is you gave me a
Get behind them.
A
One
waypoint.
melee hit to the back will neutralize most hostiles.
Then after we escape the ship, our pod pilot makes the genius decision to fly straight into the trail of the Autumn's engines. Now, I don't know about you, but this would have probably obliterated us immediately, but I'm not the one directing these cutscenes. It's not like anyone in the shuttle survives the crash anyway. Now we gotta talk about the art style on Halo, since we are actually on the installation from this point onward. The visual depiction of the Halo ring in the distance does not look good, and for some reason you don't get a sense of size and grandeur and scale that you got in the original. The vegetation and the generic environments look fine, it's just nature assets. The art style of the original has been thoroughly killed though. Arguably, they killed the OG art style with their first remaster, giving it bland, flat graphic textures, and this time around it's this Vaseline covered sheen that Unreal Engine 5 has. They kind of went from super flat in the first remaster to shiny, superficial fidelity in the remake. And I don't like both iterations. Especially the architecture on the Halo array has this one singular type of metal sheen texture applied, and it makes all rooms look the same and totally bland, and all of the details get mushed into this shiny metal appearance, and it's really dark to boot. In certain rooms, it looks like they did not load the textures correctly or something bugged out. It feels unfinished and not faithful to the original's appearance of Forerunner technology and architecture. It looks generic and boring and not at all like the original. The OG blended what looked like metal and stone into the architecture and it had much cleaner looks to it, so you could see the engravings and the details on the walls. And due to the harsh shadows and the generally dark indoor environments of the remake, it is much harder to make out details, and most of the details are just lost in the darkness. The game is just too dark indoors and outdoors as a whole. Thus, a giant chunk of the original art style is just lost in the shadows, so to say. It's not good. The game is unrecognizable. The only thing that makes this Halo is the fact that it has the landmarks and the designs from the original game, and that's about it. When you take that away, it is generic sci-fi game. We then do our thing, rescuing the Marines, and we encounter some very high-level intellect elites.
But until you showed up, I thought we were cooked.
Cooked.
Sergeant. We'll stay here until evac arrives.
Where did the Hurricane go?
Are you stupid? I'm literally right next to the wall. These guys seriously not know where I am? Up.
Moving to a stronger position.
What did you... Moving to a stronger position? You clearly gave me the high ground right there.
Seeking the faithless.
Seeking the faithless.
He must be near.
He must be near. Here I am. Got any comment?
Stand by, Marines. I've called Echo 419.
We rescue more Marines and get our hands on the Needler. And the Needler now has an ammo counter for no reasons. No. I don't mean the needles on top of the Needler. I mean it has an extra ammo counter now. For the... for whom? Who needs this? And also look at how purple the needles are now. Ugh, yuck. This whole Covenant aesthetic is so exaggerated to no end in this game for no good reason. It's way too high contrast and saturated. Like, this is probably the worst looking Needler so far. Also, there is no animation for switching seats in the Warthog. Not that I tried it because I'm forever trombone, but yeah, Halo Reach had seat switching animations. For some reason, Halo CE Remake in 2026 does not have seat switching animations anymore, because we as players deserve quality. $50 by the way. Anyway, it's time to board a Covenant ship in order to show you what I mean when I say the interior design of the Covenant has been butchered, the aesthetic. Also, the grunts here are still as hilariously stupid as they used to be, at least that is kind of nostalgic to see.
Catch!
Get off of that, you dumbass.
Come on!
Oh, stop getting on the thing. These guys. He's still on that.
Keep it up!
Stop doing that. And...
Go!
The Covenant ships, interior as well as exterior, suffer from this oversaturated use of singular colors. Now, this just doesn't look well. I know. The original had this color scheme, and the original already felt a little bit disorienting. And I know it's supposed to be purple. The Covenant has a lot of purple stuff. It's just a lot of purples and pinks. I know, but this is too much. It genuinely feels like I'm stuck in a Needler or something. It's just way too oversaturated. And just way too much here. Like, nobody looked at this and thought, yeah, maybe we should tone it down with the shiny purple and pink a little bit. And why is everything so reflective and it's so overly it's weird. It's so weird. All of the details blend into this mushy overall. It's just overexposed. You get like total whiplash when looking at this. It's way too much. It's just way too much. Anyway, everyone besides Jansen and me die immediately. That's what you're talking about? Oh no, he's the only one left.
Status report. Whoa! Just like old times.
Yeah. Sprinting, sprinting, sprinting. No, don't run away. You're supposed to step into that. Where are you going? Guess you didn't know I was here. Then some hijinks ensues, and we see the energy sword in this version of the game, and it's a very wavy this time. It's a very wavy sword. To me, that design is fine, you know, it's in the eye of the beholder, you know. Most of the weapons and the enemy models are faithful to the original, or at least they have not been totally butchered, so it's fine. It's the energy sword. And then we get Captain Keys out of here and deal with some very, very high-level stealth elites.
Stealth elites, watch your motion tracker and look for distortions in the air.
You mean this guy?
That was close.
And then after a daring escape sequence, it's on to the next mission. We see more disgusting Unreal Engine 4 technology, and then we get a nice, really, really bad Unreal Engine 5 lag when we exit the building, to the point where the music even started lagging.
Focusing fire on me!
Give me that. Oh, come on. He only has less than half left. He didn't even hit me once. What? Oh my god, the lag.
To Echo 419.
In the next mission, the snow on the bridge doesn't look like snow. It looks more like a form of film grain. It just doesn't look good. The rest of the level's environments are fine, you know, it's generic frozen winter textures, environments, Unreal Engine slop, and the architecture of the installation itself continues to disappoint. The lighting in some of these areas also isn't at all reflective or even a little bit close or even similar to the original, so faithful remake my ass. And the tank mission is uneventful, so we're skipping that one. Some more hilarity happens. They're fucking completely losing their mind out there. Why Sangheli no friends? Why enemy? Sangheli look cool. Why not friend-shaped? Oh. Hello. And then Cortana proceeds to get big and red, and I'm sure that is somebody's fetish. She still looks uncanny as hell. And now we got onto the most important mission. Ow. 343 Guilty Spark. Did 343 Industries, now known as Halo Studios, ruin the atmosphere and vibe of the original? Of course they did. The jungle is just dark, and I mean really fucking dark and foggy, generic horror setting now, instead of the original's green and eerie atmosphere. It's just generic Unreal Engine 5 horror game atmosphere, and it's 3 times darker than the original was. The interior of the station also leaves not a good first impression. It's again just dark, way darker than the original, and you have these try-harder red lights in there that are supposed to make it look spooky. The dude shooting you before the cutscene for the flood is now just a funny and hilarious encounter rather than tension building and scary, mostly because he doesn't seem to hit me and he also isn't looking at me at all.
Don't touch me, you freaks! I won't be like you, I'll die first!
He can't even damage me. Oh no, he damages me.
The monsters are everywhere!
I can't just ignore that guy, right?
That's what I did. Play dead. They took the live ones. Oh god, I can still hear them.
Can you calm down?
Just leave me alone!
Ooh, what's that? They did at least not ruin the Flood's introductory cutscene, so I give you that point 343. I mean Halo Studios. Did they ruin the shotgun though? No, thank God. The shotgun still feels good, although again the bullets vanish into the ether after like 5 meters, which will never not be goofy, but it is still the shotgun. Later on, you get more of this sickly green that was present in the mission. That is when the art style gets a little bit better. That's better. So I would like to see more of that, rather than just the pure darkness generic shit we've seen before that. While the 343 Guilty Spark mission at that point feels a little bit more faithful when the flood growth appears on the walls and we see more of that green light flooding certain rooms, it's still a letdown, especially for a supposedly faithful remake. The mission ends in the defense and us being teleported out by Guilty Spark. On to the library. Did they make the library less shitty? The only chance they had to make an actual improvement to the game. No, of course they did not. You do the same shitty opening of doors, running after 343 Guilty Spark while he's yapping. You shoot hordes of flood in the same looking hallways, only this time around it's just dark and there's some infested texture that's repeated on the walls. You activate some light bridges and everything looks the same due to it being all the exact same metal texture. I guess at least it being a shitty mission means it's faithful, right? It was shitty in the original, so they made it shitty in the remake. Actually, a lot of the textures of the flood in this game remind me just of Dead Space, especially the remake textures in that game, or in Chronos New Dawn. This game also had these bulbous looking masses everywhere, pasted everywhere. It looks like this just might be an Unreal Engine asset that's just been copy pasted into this game to give you, the flood textures. The flood in general though, the enemies, again, they look fine. All enemy models are at least not horrendous looking, as well again as the weapons. They also look fine. It's just the environments that kind of look soulless. Most everything in the game also looks like it has some sort of film grain on it, especially the cutscenes, even though there seems to be no setting to turn film grain on or off, or at least I didn't find it in the menus. The melee flood enemies have also a harder time keeping up with you, even less so if you sprint away from them. And this is also where you can pick up the Sentinel Beam for the first time. The Guilty Spark and the Cortana confrontation happens, and the mission with the 3 generators is uneventful as well. Nothing special to note here. The one thing I noticed there though is, due to the fact that the game is so dark in certain areas, it's difficult to discern what enemies are even present on screen. Besides their projectiles and maybe the glowing shields, you can't really make out anything. In this example, it's just all mushed together in this super dark, shadowy area of the map. The game suffers from general readability issues, where the original was much more cleaner and gave you vital informations visually. This game, being an Unreal Engine 5 slopfest, just blends everything into this super saturated, harsh, shadowy environment. It detracts from the careful balance and design of the original. I can't tell who the hell is shooting at me and what is bunched up in that shadow. Like, it's too dark. It's way too dark in that area. Now we go back for Captain Keys, and the theme here is similar. Everything is 200% more darker than it used to be. It's probably done to hide all of the shitty Unreal Engine textures and all of the ghosting and fuzzing that you get if you were to play this game with upscaling and frame gen. Infested Captain Keys looks like some generic necromorph monster now. The original mutation looked way more disturbing, maybe because you could actually see it. This version is just completely obscured by all of the shadows and the darkness in the cutscene. Man, dude, the game is just too dark, man. I don't know how often I need to say this. It's just too fucking dark. And at the end of this mission, when you escape, is where you get the single wart in the entire campaign. That's the only goodie that 343 Industries had for us. In the last mission, you really get to feel the power of sprint, because you can just run past everything here and you can skip straight up to the final fight, which is still the same thing it used to be in the original. And I don't like this end fight. I don't know if I'm in the minority here, but the grenades into the vents and just that whole section was always finicky and it felt anticlimactic for this game. So just as I did back then in the original, I just ran with a rocket launcher and that solves all of the issues. You can also just ignore most of the enemies in this room as well. It's really not improved over the original. I mean, I guess it's faithful, but for a remake, you know, they could have done something here, but I guess they kept it like it is, which, should I give them praise for that or not? I don't know, man. Why do you pay money for this? Honestly, whatever. The final Warthog run is still the same funny jank fest it was, now with 200% more disorienting explosions and effects. And in the end cutscene, when we're trying to lift off, the little magnum that Captain Keys gave you comes in clutch and aids in our escape. Isn't that nice? It came full circle. See, that's why I told you to take notes. And that's the main campaign. Pretty much the same Halo CE that you used to know, but now with Vaseline smeared all over it and programmed by people who don't know how to make a good game, so they have to remake the originals until the end of time. Case in point, the 3 bonus mission pack. Let's talk about those real quick and then end it. It takes place a year before the Halo event, and keep this in mind, this is going to be relevant for a plot point later. It is an infiltration mission where Master Chef and Johnson board a Covenant vessel to get data. The Covenant vessel has taken Marine Tech and Marines as prisoners on board, and they're hunting them in some sort of holographic nature resort. The Covenant vessel also has destroyed a UNSC ship, and its wreckage is next to the Covenant vessel. That's where the captured Marines are come from. We free the Marines from captivity. We find out the ship is manned by a prophet who introduces us to the brutes, and we get the data we came here for, and then blow the ship up. The Marines we rescued sacrifice themselves to destroy the generator, so a UNSC ship we called in can take the shot. That's it. The story only creates problems, and I mean lore problems. It is a non sequitur to begin with. In short, it's a waste of time and destroys lore. So let's explain why. Firstly, the writing is immediately more cringe and worse. So funny. It's very funny. That's the opening bit, by the way. I get to play for 5 seconds and then there's another cutscene.
Just couldn't save any from me, could you?
Jesus, he looks so weird.
Been a while since I gotta take old Sophie out for a spin. Are you ready to get to it?
Sure. This is the opening cutscene, yes. Already, 343 is proving us they cannot write good characters or dialogue. John Halo is immediately yapping even though he's supposed to be the silent type, and he makes a shitty quip. And Johnson is just there to deliver even more cringe. They remade Halo 1 twice. So they had an example, they have blueprints of how to do good story writing, and they decided to immediately throw that into the wind and make a shitty knockoff product with reused Covenant assets, which is 99% of what this DLC or this mission pack is made out of. If that is somehow supposed to convince me that 343 has the guts to make their own Halo story, then that is a failure right from the start. The game's direction is also worse. You start off being forced to follow Johnson and wait for him until he hacks open doors. Keep that in mind as well, it will also come back later. 2 notes to take: lore destruction and Johnson needing to hack doors. Keep those 2 things in mind.
I see an unclean one.
No, you don't see anything. You're seeing nothing, dude. Also, in certain areas, doors are just magically closed until some NPC or Johnson has stopped yapping, and then a door magically opens without needing to be hacked. But dude, it's so freaking
All these
purple.
pocket hackers should suppress their internal alerts. For now, at least.
Goodbye. Secret? Surely not. Oh, this one is more laggy. These missions are a little bit more shittery. Change of plans. Don't tell me I need to wait for him to walk over here. I need to wait for him to walk over here to hack the door. Guys! Guys, come on. Now he's gonna walk over there.
Chief.
Oh, what? It didn't hack a single door, this just magically opened. What the fuck is this game doing? The design of this Covenant ship also kind of looks like something straight out of Warframe, you know, some Orokin derelict. It's all gold and shit. It makes sense since there's a prophet here and it's the prophet of harmony, so it's all shiny and high quality. But it ends up somehow all looking the same and even more visually disorienting than the normal Covenant ships. John Halo then receives a UNSC signal coming from a dark and ominous corridor, and he thinks it's a trap, and it probably is a trap, and he decides to go for it anyway. You get one area outside that just looks like you're on Halo, only it's some sort of weird holo projection room. And this is where the captured Marines are held. Most of the time you're running around in the same looking gold and white Covenant interiors. The game spams enemies in this mission with no rhyme or reason, so they still don't know how to actually make good and balanced missions even up until this day. And the dialogue is horrendous as well.
What do you think these are? Trophies?
Definitely not.
Unlikely. They look more like experiments.
That's even worse.
Good story writing. Look, there's something you can hack.
I'll get it cracked open.
Look, we just hacked the console, then we walked a little bit, had a little bit of a talk, and now he's hacking the next console. Wow.
This place gives me the creeps. Okay, Mr. Monologue. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh my
But we're on
god.
the clock. Point that thing somewhere else.
You spawned next to me, buddy. There he is.
You made that look easy. Still with you.
There he is. The game introduces brutes in a cutscene as well as the prophet in the same cutscene.
Well, I'll be damned.
What's a prophet doing here?
Beats me. Hey, Waddles. Didn't think your kind got out that much.
Hold your fire, my children. Have you enjoyed your stay so far, demon?
Demon? Yeah, you heard that right. Why does the Prophet call John Halo Demon? Master Chef only gets the moniker of Demon after the destruction of Halo Installation 04, you know, Alpha Halo. How does the Prophet call us Demon now already? Is this supposed to be some weird retcon, or are the writers just not paying attention? You get to choose which option here. Ignorance or incompetence? By the way, brutes are just bullet sponges as enemies, nothing special about them. You can still enrage them and then they run around and hit people, that's about it. And then the game introduces a badass femoid soldier that is a girl boss who needs no Spartan to help her. And her squad is painfully diverse, almost comically so. What the hell just exploded? Oh yes, more cutscenes.
Thanks, Sergeant Major. We owe you one.
Williams.
Didn't think we'd ever see any of our own again. I'm Lieutenant Williams, Tiger Company.
From the 92nd Shock Troops Battalion.
One and the same. Honored you've heard of us, Sergeant Major. We certainly know who you are.
The honor's mine, LT. Glad we could help.
She will accompany us throughout this mission and yap our ears off with tough talk. And Johnson and John Halo get some cringy lines too, but Mrs. Badass UNSC Commando here takes the cake for cringe.
Chief, you ever get tired of being a strong, almost silent type?
No.
Very funny joke. Very, very funny joke.
Until we started playing second fiddle to soldiers that were built instead of born.
Some sort of
Hear something? Or
human naturalist? Huh? Some sort of racist?
Watch it carefully.
I like how they need to finish yapping before the fucking door opens. The mission pack basically is just a shit ton of UNSC Marines glazing. Also, it's at this point, all of a sudden, the game forgets the hacking device that Johnson had with him, and from now on, we can just interact with all of the consoles, the same consoles, to open all of the doors for no reason. These are the same consoles that Johnson needed to hack for us to progress, and now we can just interact with them for no reason. Why was Johnson hacking the doors in the first place? He still has an okay voice. Both of them are still pretty good as voice actors.
We keep quiet and play our cards right, we'll be in, out, and back by dinner.
I see how this mission is gonna go.
Damn right I am.
They're gonna be yapping 24/7, and I'm gonna be walking beside him and wait until he opens the door.
AI into that suit of you. Give me a sec.
I need to wait. Oh well.
I'll have this lift up and running in no time.
Oh, you're hacking something again? That's a beautiful noise. Do we have to open the doors? Oh, now I can interact with these. What?
Look, you're wondering if you got the guts to fight after what you've been through.
Activating? The needle rifle is pretty good.
Disable that power node.
Now I can interact with these, yeah. Was it just to waste time and dictate the pacing and the flow of the mission because the hacks at 343 Industries don't know how to make good flowing missions in Halo? I mean Halo Studios. After some more fighting, we get the data and we leave the ship. We get a scene where like 5 Marines took out half a room of Covenant soldiers, and then we decide to blow the ship up to destroy the evidence. The UNSC Marines stay behind and sacrifice themselves to down the shields for the vessel. And that also means we don't have to worry about these characters anymore. Good job, 343. You wrote some horribly written throwaway characters. Good job. Nobody will care about these ever again. And the mission pack ends with a space fight section. Yeah, we keep enemy fighters off of a UNSC ship that ends up firing at the vessel while its shields are down, and the Prophet of course escapes during that sequence because if he didn't he wouldn't be in Halo 2. And this is arguably the only time the new missions were fun. I had fun during that space flight mission, even though it was quite honestly very simplistic. More of this please. less of the shitty writing and less of the reused assets, please. That little spaceflight mission was okay. I'm giving 3 for 3 a plus point here. They didn't earn it, but yeah. Also, let's talk about the soundtrack real quickly. The soundtrack, if it's not done by Marty, is just nothing. It's either stuff yoinked from the OG soundtrack, or it's stuff that's just uninspired garbage. The same goes for the remade campaign, of course. It's once again Marty O'Donnell carrying 343 Industries on his back, even though he's not been with the company for ages now. We then get an ending cutscene with Johnson setting up for Halo 2, showing us that they found the location of High Charity through the data, and we get a Miranda cameo as well. So this is basically confirming that we will be getting a Halo 2 remake as well, which was obvious. So it's time to get excited for that too. And if you wanted to know, the bonus mission pack has extra weapons, the battle rifle, the spiker, and the brute plasma gun. That's it. It's $50 for a remade campaign of Halo CE with some community mods and a mission pack that feels like it was also half-assed by some modders. No, actually, sorry, that's an insult to modders. If you gave Halo to the community, they would legitimately come up with better content and better stories. But that's it. That's the big comeback of 343, I mean Halo Studios. That's it. Halo is so back, guys. It's so back. Get hyped for Halo 2 Demaster and Halo 3 Demaster and Halo 4 Demaster and Halo 5 Demaster, and I'm sure they'll be remaking Halo Infinite in the next 10 years. It's gonna be glorious and I can't wait.